ain't the one that I want. Baby, baby, you're all that I want. Feels so easy on me. Baby, you're all that I want. Darling, you ain't the one that I want.
Welcome back to Status Detail and welcome to Cannonball Garage. We referred our customer over here for some service because he asked us for a service shop. So we're picking up this matte black 720S from Cannonball today, and we have a few stops to make before we get to Status HQ. It's pretty funny when you drive a matte black 720S anywhere in the world. It's very similar to driving when I was in that Aventador. Like, you get so many waves, you get thumbs up, people are reaching over from the driver's seat, like trying to give a thumbs up out the passenger side window. Like, people get really excited about it. Right now we are driving this car to my vinyl guy because, as I just mentioned, this car is wrapped in matte black vinyl. So he is going to unwrap the car for us. I have no idea what color the car is. We're gonna find out after it's unwrapped. So I'm not gonna make you guys wait for it, but right now the car is matte black, and just like that, we have a gloss gray McLaren 720S. And actually, guys, we're going to take a quick drive to Exact Performance because hopefully we can see this. I've got a big rock chip here, and there's a couple small ones, and I've got one in the sensor. There's one in the sensor right here as well. So I want to get touch-up paint before I do all the work on this car. So we just left the vinyl wrap, guys. We are driving back to Status HQ, but we do have 45 miles of range. We have 50 miles of range now. We are slowly ticking back up. I'm driving pretty conservatively, so sometimes it goes back up. We have 2 stops to do. So we're going to buy gas because obviously this car has very little gas in it. And we are going to stop at Exact Performance as well. I'm literally going to pass them. It's no extra miles on the car, which you have to think about when you're driving a $400,000 car. So I'm literally going to pass it anyways. And the car, like I mentioned, has some rock chips in the front. So we're going to stop at Exact Performance because they are a certified McLaren body shop, and they can hopefully on the spot mix me some paint. If not, I'll come back and get it tomorrow. But I want to fix those rock chips in the car before I put PPF over it. One of the cool things you get when you do business with Status Detail, when you do it with me, is I've really grown a lot of connections all over the place. So, you know, the car started out at Cannonball because the customer asked me for a recommendation to do some service, and I told him go to Cannonball Garage. We needed vinyl removed, and my vinyl guys are awesome, and that's who I recommend and trust to remove vinyl, which is why we were there. We need touch-up paint, so now we're going to go to Exact Performance. This car already has tint, but if you wanted tint, I have awesome tint people that come to our shop. We do PPF now, we do ceramic, we do paint correction. So, you know, whatever you guys need, I can always help you. I also have a great powder coating person now if you want to do powder coating on wheels. So I'm kind of a one-stop shop for everything, and I have a lot of connections to a lot of different places. So when you're kind of part of Status Detail, when you do business with me, you kind of get, you know, you kind of become part of that like inner circle of like a membership program, but it's not a membership. Where if you need something, I'm always going to take care of you guys. I can refer you all over the place. Gas update. We are up to 75 miles of range, baby. I'm hypermiling this $400,000 McLaren, and we're getting the mileage back, baby. So one of the cool things about having Exact Performance so close is that McLaren paint is really, really difficult to get, and you can basically only order it in full-size paint cans. So because there's so many grays, there's like 7, 8, 9 gray colors from McLaren. We were unlucky in this case where they didn't actually have a McLaren color, but we just basically custom matched this color and made our own little touch-up bottle that's tiny. And then we just came out here, literally, we put it on the car and tested it, and if it was bad, we were gonna wipe it off immediately, basically with paint thinner and just remove it. But we got lucky, and we literally matched it on the first try. This is why, like, one of the many reasons why you might come to Status Detail, guys, is I have like connections and we can make these things happen, because otherwise we would literally have to wait like 7, 8 weeks or longer for paint, and we need this car done in like 4 days. So in this particular situation, I was able to kind of come through and knock this out and get the touch-up paint, because this match is way good enough, definitely good enough to put film over it, where now we're not dealing with this contrast anymore on the car. If you guys ever need any kind of body shop stuff, or you own an exotic car or something really expensive, I can highly recommend Exact Performance. They've always helped me out with really awesome last minute situations like this. So I just wanted to give them a little shout out. Exact Performance, you guys rock. Thanks so much.
distanced yourself from the whole thing.
I wanted to give you guys another PPF update and also just kind of tell you a story, essentially. If you're learning something right now, or you're going to college and you're learning how to be an engineer, a lawyer, a doctor, if you're starting a new job and it's hard, if you're learning how to do something in your personal life, you're learning how to paint, or learn a musical instrument, or whatever it might be, if you're learning something right now and it's not going so hot, like, man, I can relate with you, because I've thrown away well over $1,000 in paint protection film learning so far and trying to get this down, and lots of people told me that it was going to be really hard, and some people didn't really say that I wouldn't be able to do it, but kind of alluded to the fact that, like, I was going to have a really rocky time, trying to learn, because I didn't really want to take any training classes. I wanted to kind of learn on my own accord at my own pace, and everyone was like, that's a bad idea. And I love the Stek guys. They're really great, and I have absolutely nothing bad to say about the Stek guys, but even they were like, I think you'll benefit from like taking a training course, like you should really take a training course. And honest to God, they're probably 100% correct. I probably should have done that, but I like to do things my way. I like to learn things the way I want to learn them at the pace and the form and the method that I want to try and go about things, because I think long term it kind of helps me understand better. Because if I fail a certain way, I understand, like, the lesson that you get from a failure is way more important than succeeding early on and then maybe having some roadblocks later on. So I definitely failed a lot in the beginning of learning how to do PPF, but something happened recently where I was doing that chalk Turbo S and I was putting the hood on that car, and guys, I failed at it. And I put it on and it was good. For some people, I could have retailed it, and I tore it off because I wasn't happy, and I was really mad about that situation. And I basically jotted down a bunch of notes of like, I'm going to ask all these questions to my installer, and I'm going to learn from this, because it's okay to fail. And every successful person you'll ever speak to, they'll say we learned more from our failures than we did our successes. So I'm not scared to fail on PPF or in anything in business, as long as I get something educational out of it. So if I fail and I get no education out of it, no progression, nothing learned, that's a catastrophe. That's awful, because then it can happen again and you don't know how to prevent it. But if you fail and then you learn how to make that never happen again, oh my God, that's invaluable. That's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, because to know how to never have something happen again or not recreate a failure like that is something that you take with you forever. So if this business, not that I think it will, but if this business went out of business, all the things that I've failed in the past, I can roll all that information into a new business. Or if I wanted to start a second or third or fourth or fifth business, like a serial entrepreneur, like, you have all of that knowledge. You never can be stripped of that. That's why it's so invaluable to learn from a failure. So I reached the point where I basically don't throw away film anymore. So the last 3 or 4 jobs that I've done by myself, I've completely installed the film to an acceptable, if not perfect level, and I don't waste film anymore. So from that Turbo S hood, I took all those questions, asked my installer, and he gave me like so much information, and it was so crucial because I was missing so many really important, like, small things, but those small things are huge, and they were causing literally all the problems I was experiencing from my first couple installs before that. And since then, I've done multiple jobs, all successfully. In my opinion, I've done them extremely, extremely well, and I don't think anyone should be as good at this as I am right now, considering how early on in the process I still am. I've done, so I did the lower rockers on this car, I did the roof, the window frame surrounding. I could have done the hood, but honestly I was too tired to do it, so I just let the installer do it because he was supposed to anyways. I did a full 2022 Escalade bumper, which was like 130 inches that I solo back rolled across the whole thing and put on, which I think I did a pretty good job. I also did 16 or 18 pillars on the Escalade, which was kind of hard because some of those pieces were pretty crazy to do because there's like a Cadillac logo in the center, so you got to like stencil that out and push it in. I'm just like, I'm absorbing so much now because I have those fundamentals of what I was doing wrong, that I know how to do that now, that it's basically coming down to understanding how to get the initial stretch in, and then like really everything else goes pretty easy from there. What's tricky is when you're doing a solo job like I always am, it's hard because we use 3 people to put this bumper on. Not that we needed to, but because it made it better and easier, because I was holding the center down while they're stretching the sides out, and that makes the bumper go on pretty easy. So developing my own, solo system for some of these things, that's going to be just a proprietary status detail thing of the way I find how I want to do it. I'm a very logical person, and my brain sees things multiple steps ahead, but when I was so new, I couldn't see the next step because I didn't even know what the first step was. So now that I'm starting to understand it, I'm like, okay, you got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but if you do 4 before 2, the whole thing doesn't work in PPF. Like, you have to, but because I have that logical mindset and I understand the steps, we're good now. Like, I'm starting to understand like how we go through the system of like putting one panel on. So that's super exciting. Like I said in the beginning, if you are doing something that's really hard right now, you're learning something new, you're going to school, you're starting a new job, learning a new skill, whatever it is, don't give up on it. I never was even close to giving up in the process of learning how to do this, and I still have a lot to learn, and there's still a lot, to go from here. But I was hard on myself a lot. So just understand that like when you're learning how to do something and you're having a hard time, understand why you're having a hard time and what makes you go from there to the next level and not having a hard time. So if you can take those micro failures or large failures and then turn them into, if I do this, I wouldn't have failed, that's everything. So like, don't give up, keep pushing forward, figure out how to be successful, even if your way of being successful is failing and understanding why you failed and how not to do it again. That's all you need to end the day happy and be like, okay, tomorrow will be better. I understand why this didn't go well today. And that was a huge deal for me because it's helped me like really progress through PPF very, very quickly.
Baby, you're all that I want. So go easy on me. Baby, you're all that I want. Let me. Baby, you're all that I want. So go easy on me.
Oh no.
Baby, you're all that I want. We're in heaven for me.
Thoughts of you still cross my mind, even when I'm working. Take a moment, press rewind. Were you really worth it? So far gone, I'm hard to find. Late night texts are worthless. Cry yourself to sleep at night. I think you deserve it. When I used to want you, oh baby, all the things I put myself through. You don't even know I broke my walls too, just so I could have you. It's too late for you to stay.
There was only you and me. We were young and wild and free.
Oh no.
Been down that road before, but that's over now.
I wish I felt the same.
Baby, you're all that I want. So go easy on me. Baby, you're all that I want.
You ain't the one that I want.
Baby, you're all that I want. So go easy on me. Baby, you're all that I want.
Darling, you ain't the one that I want.
Earlier in the video, I mentioned how we had all those connections and we can refer people and we have lots of vendors that can help us out. And in this case, we have Dennis Does Dents. And you guessed it, Dennis Pops Dents. So we were able to get Dennis in last minute because this dent we didn't realize that this was on the car. The vinyl really kind of hit it and made it complicated to see until it was unwrapped. It was clear as day. And Dennis ended up having a cancellation, so we were able to get him to come in literally about 5 minutes before we put PPF on the the car. Like literally by the time Dennis left after popping this dent, literally we were already putting PPF on that panel. So the timing was really amazing. In this slow-mo here, if you look real close at where the dent is, he's basically popping it from the back. So he pulled the fender off, the fender liner on the inside, and he's got a tool that he's basically kind of leveraging off the tire, and he's pushing the dent from the center of the dent out from the inside out. And he did it so fast and it was so well done that it was really shocking. It's one of the few times I've really watched and filmed someone do this, and it's impressive. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, all that cool stuff. I've got a lot more content coming and a lot more like feel-good, positive stuff like that PPF talk we were having earlier. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Videos coming every Sunday, and I'll see you next time.